In today's video we're going to talk all things Christmas dinner, from the perfect turkey to goose fat roast potatoes, pigs in blankets, stuffing, sprouts and of course a delicious gravy to finish it off. As well as the tutorials for each recipe, I will be releasing a shopping list for every recipe in this video that I will put up on the screen now, but you will also find it in the description of the video that you can just copy and paste and print off if you like. I will also be releasing a strategy sheet of what you can make in advance the day before and what you need to do on the day. So let's begin by making the turkey. First of all, we need to make a delicious herb and garlic butter. For that, take 250 grams of unsalted butter and place it into a mixing bowl. And then roughly chop 15 grams of sage leaves and pick around 5 grams of thyme leaves. Then place them into the bowl with the butter, and then we'll crush in 4 cloves of garlic. Add in a pinch of sea salt and black pepper and then mix it all together until it's fully incorporated. Next we need to take our turkey and then try and lift the skin that is covering the breast. So to do that, just take your hand and just gently tease it away on the inside until there's a pocket formed between the skin and the breast meat. Then take all of that delicious butter and spread it under the skin. Next we need to season the inside of the cavity with salt and pepper, and then we're going to cut 3 clementines into slices and the rest into wedges. Place the slices underneath the skin with the butter and then put the wedges inside the cavity, and with the rest of the thyme just place that inside the cavity as well. Now we're going to lay 20 rashers of smoky, streaky bacon over the top of the turkey breast, and all those delicious flavours are going to release into the turkey as it cooks. Next we're going to wedge up 3 brown onions and roughly chop 2 carrots and 2 sticks of celery, and then we're going to lay those onto a tray, and this is going to be for the turkey to sit on, and it will also form the foundations of our gravy. Place the turkey into the oven at 180 degrees Celsius fan and cook it for 30 minutes per kilo. Mine weighs 4.8 kilos, so I'm going to cook mine for 2 hours 40 minutes to 3 hours. After the first hour, have a look at the turkey and then baste it with any of the juices just by spooning them over the top. And then to stop the bacon crisping up anymore, I'm just going to cover it with tin foil and place it back in the oven for the remainder of the cooking time. Now you can baste it 2 or 3 more times if you'd like in between before the end of the cooking time, or it's fine just to leave it as it is. That's entirely up to you. Take the turkey from the oven and place it onto another tray to rest. You want to rest it for at least 1 hour, or ideally half the amount of time you cooked it. Here's a quick tip for carving your turkey. What I like to do is cut along the back of the turkey and then just gently work your way down until the full turkey breast comes off. Then place the turkey breast onto a chopping board and simply slice it up. That way you get beautiful slices of turkey without it falling apart. Next up, it's goose fat roast potatoes. Begin by taking 2 kilos of any starchy variety of potato, and then we need to peel them and cut them in half or into quarters. Just make sure they're all roughly around the same size. Then we'll place them into a pan of cold water that's been generously seasoned with sea salt and place it over high heat. Once boiling, turn down to a simmer and cook for 15 minutes. Now drain them through a colander and then place them back into the pan. Place a lid on and shake them up a little bit just to make them rough around the edges, because that's the bits that are going to go deliciously crispy when we roast them. And then take the lid off and allow them to steam dry for 5 to 10 minutes. In the meantime, take 120 grams of goose fat and place it onto a roasting tray. We'll then place that tray into a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes to allow the fat to melt and to heat up. We'll then take the tray from the oven and gently place the potatoes on. Being very careful here because the fat is very hot and we don't want it to splash all over us. And then just roll them around slightly in the fat just to get them coated and put them back in the oven for a total of 1 hour, turning them every 15 minutes until you've got deliciously crispy golden roast potatoes just like these. Next up, we're going to make honey roast carrots and parsnips. Begin by taking 500 grams of carrots and 500 grams of parsnips, and then we're just going to peel them, leaving the tops on. We're then going to cut them in half lengthways. Depending on the size of them, you might want to cut them into quarters, and also if they're a little bit woody in the center, you might want to just remove that core, but that is entirely up to you. And then we're just going to drizzle them with some olive oil and season with salt and pepper. I'm just going to mix them all together now, just so they're nicely coated, and then I'm going to lay them back out. Just again, making sure they're not overcrowded and there's some space between each one. The carrots now need to go into the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 40 minutes, turning them halfway through the cooking time. After 40 minutes, take them from the oven and then drizzle them with roughly around 2 tablespoons of runny honey, and then place them back into the oven for 5 more minutes. Pile them up onto a plate, and that's your honey roast carrots and parsnips done. Now it's time to make my delicious sage and onion stuffing with apple. Begin by peeling and finely dicing 1 brown onion, and then peeling and finely dicing 1 green apple. That could be a Granny Smith's, a Bramley apple, or a Golden Delicious. They're my 3 favourites for this recipe. Next, place a frying pan over a medium heat and add in 25 grams of butter. Once the butter's melted, add in the onions and apple and cook for around 5 minutes until the onions begin to go soft and translucent. Take them off the heat and place them onto a plate. I do this because this cools down the mixture quicker, because we want it cold when it goes into the main stuffing mix. Place 500 grams of pork sausage meat into a mixing bowl. If you can't get sausage meat, buy some good quality sausages and just take the meat out of those. And then add in 90 grams of breadcrumbs and roughly chop 15 grams of sage and add that into the mixture. Next, add in your cooled down onions and apple and mix everything together. You can do this using a wooden spoon, but it might take a little while, so you could always just get your hands in there or stick a glove in if you feel a bit squeamish, and give it a good old mix until everything is combined. You can season your stuffing mix with salt and pepper, but bear in mind some sausage meat comes already seasoned, so mine is in this case, so I'm not adding any. But if it isn't already seasoned, then add in a little bit of salt and pepper. At this point you can roll it into stuffing balls or any shape that you like, but I like to just press it into a baking tray and bake it in a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 40 minutes until it's completely cooked through and nice and golden on top, just like this. Now let's make pigs in blankets. It's so easy to make your own pigs in blankets, and it'd be such a shame not to. Simply buy 12 good quality Chipolata sausages. I like the nice long ones. And then we need to wrap each sausage in 1 rasher of Smokey bacon. Just simply lay your bacon down onto a surface and then on a slight angle place the sausage on and then roll it up nice and tight until it's fully wrapped. Place the pigs in blankets onto a baking tray lined with greaseproof paper and place them into a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 20 to 25 minutes until the bacon has crisped up and the sausages are completely cooked through. If you want to step them up another notch, you could always glaze them with some honey, or even better, honey mustard. Next, we're going to make Yorkshire puddings. Now, it's debatable whether Yorkshire puddings actually go on a Christmas dinner. Personally, I'm not so sure, but let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think they belong on a Christmas dinner? Let me know. All you have to do is simply take a drinking mug or a cup or a glass and fill it to the top with plain flour. Don't compact it down, just place it in and give it a little shake until it's level on the top. Then place that into a mixing bowl. Next, crack some eggs into the same cup just until it's full. And then place that in with the flour. And then finally fill the same cup again with milk and add that into the mixing bowl. Whisk it all together until it's completely smooth. Cover it with a plate and place it in the fridge to rest. Ideally, I would make this the day before, but allow the mixture to rest for a minimum of 1 hour. Take your Yorkshire pudding mixture from the fridge, and at this stage we're going to season it with a little bit of salt and pepper, and then just give it another mix to whisk that seasoning through. Take a large tray and then place a Yorkshire pudding tray on top of that. That's just to catch any overflow of fat when it's cooking in the oven. And then place a little bit of fat into each Yorkshire pudding hole. I'm using lard here, but you can use beef dripping or a vegetable oil if that suits you better. Next, place your trays into a preheated oven at 220 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes to allow the fat to melt and to heat up. Carefully take the hot trays from the oven and then ladle in your Yorkshire pudding batter. leaving a small gap at the top. Then place them into the oven and cook for 30 minutes. Until beautifully risen, crisp on the outside and slightly soft on the inside. Here's my easy method for delicious sprouts. For this recipe I'm using some chestnuts. So if you're using them too, all you need to do is cut a little slit into the chestnut shell and then place them onto a baking tray, cut side up, and then roast them in a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. After that, you should be able to peel the shells away and then just roughly chop them and set them to one side. While your chestnuts are roasting, you can prepare your sprouts. So all I do is trim off the bottom and take off some of the outer leaves. If they're looking a bit tatty and dirty, just remove them until you've got beautiful green looking sprouts. Next, place a large saute pan onto the heat and drizzle in 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Next, add in 300 grams of bacon lardons and then just cook them until the fat has rendered down and they're nice and crisp. You might want to drain off a little bit of the excess fat here. Next, add in your sprouts and give them a good stir so they're nicely coated in that bacon fat. Then add in around 100 ml of cold water and place on the lid. This is going to create loads of steam and help those sprouts cook through. After 5 minutes, take the lid off and stir in the chopped chestnuts and 30 grams of butter. Give everything a mix around until the butter's melted and then pile them up onto a plate and enjoy. Now the time has come to talk gravy. So you need to take the tray with all of that beautiful roast veg from roasting the turkey and place that over a medium heat on the hob. Bring the fat and cooking juices up to a simmer and then sprinkle in 90 grams of plain flour. Give everything a good mix around and cook for 3 to 4 minutes. Next, you want to deglaze the pan with 250 ml of white wine. Pour the wine in and then rub the wooden spoon around to take any of those stuck on bits off the bottom, because that's all going to create beautiful flavour here, and bring it up to a simmer. You'll have almost a thick pasty kind of consistency at this stage. Next, we're going to gradually add in water until it reaches a consistency that you like. In this video I'm using close to 1 litre of water, but just gradually add it a bit at a time until it gets the consistency that you desire. Next, remove the tray from the heat and place a saucepan over low heat. Then add a sieve on top, and then we want to strain all of those vegetables and that gravy mixture through the sieve. And then we'll press the veg down with the back of a ladle just to get out any extra flavour we can into the pan. And then we'll look at our gravy and see if we need to add in any more water to thin it down. Bear in mind we might want to simmer it for a while. It will reduce down and thicken up as we are cooking it. So you might want to make it a little bit more watery than you would like to eat it, so it gets to your perfect thickness when you come to serve it. Don't forget to taste it and season it with salt and pepper before you serve it. Now the time has come to plate it up and just simply place as much as you like, because it is Christmas, onto your plates and then ladle over some of that beautiful gravy. That's how I make my Christmas dinner from start to finish. So as I've said before, you'll find the full shopping list, a strategy sheet and all the written recipes for everything you've seen today in the description of this video. Now there's nothing left to do apart from go and eat your Christmas dinner, enjoy it, have some fun with your family. Have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you in the next video.